Welcome everyone, today we have a special video for Diablo 4. In this video, we'll be looking into the magic find Affix for the Nightmare Dungeons. As you guys can see behind me, I have been testing the magic find dungeons and also comparing the results. And here you guys can see a brief replay summary at the end of the video to show you guys what are some of the highlights of each of the runs. So I have tested a few of the runs, and something interesting is not only do you get seemingly more items in terms of rare items, you also have a slight increased chance of getting unique items. But let's have a look at the data over here. So as you guys can see over here, I've written some notes over here to show you guys what are my understandings and so testing for the magic find. The first part of the video we'll look at is magic find actually working, because there's a lot of Reddit posts over here and also a lot of viewers who are asking about this, is magic find actually working? So we'll be looking how does magic find work and how we can profit from magic find, even farming for the rarest items in the game, including the grandfather and also the shackle, which is the Harley Quinn's quest. This will be very interesting. Now on the second part of the video, I'll briefly go through my testing results of what I noticed from testing the level 49 and also level 50 dungeons. And of course, because I have a fairly small sample size, even though I got several items over 800 rank, which I'll show you guys over here. So those are the items I got after 3 runs. I have gotten 810, 808, 803, and also 801, 800, and also 805. There were other items I also got, but those were not very good, so I savaged and also sold those. So on the second part, we'll briefly talk about my results and so findings, and I also want to make a summary to you guys to see what we can make use of magic find in the future updates, which can be very good because that is coming before season 1. Now coming over to the first part of the video. Now the bigger question is magic find actually working? Because we can see in the replays that magic find is gonna be one of the affixes that appears fairly common with a lot of nightmare dungeons, and there have been a lot of questions on the internet and especially Reddit about whether this is working. So you can see there's a lot of posts people are saying, is magic find actually working? What am I getting? And also is bugged? So the bigger question we have as we test this is the ongoing question. And currently, unfortunately, we're lacking the confirmation. Because what you'll see on magic find is, it says you'll find more items for enemies. But what does this actually translate into? Do we find more white items and more blue items? I can tell you guys we do, but I'm not looting those. Do we find more yellow or rare items? Well, seems like we do. And also, do we find more legendaries or unique items? And what about the items you get at the end of the dungeon? So those are the questions we'll try to answer in this video. Now the bigger question is, how do we make use of this magic find feature, which is a positive affix? Is it worth our timing to be farming magic find maps? At the moment, you do have to travel to different dungeons, and this will take you some time. In the next part of the video, we'll talk about once you have the teleportation feature with nightmare dungeons, this can be very easy and very good for farming. Now over here, I do have something I want to mention, which is the resetting nightmare dungeon trick. So if you guys haven't seen this video, in this video we'll talk about resetting nightmare dungeons, which keeps your sigil, keeps the nightmare dungeon going, and also reset the monsters in the dungeon. Now how this can be potentially even abusable or really good for farming and even actually broken is that we can be using the resetting dungeon method to find one of the best dungeons in the game, like the blind burrows, and also to find the affix that has magic find. And once you have all 3 of those, you can be looking into a level 90 plus dungeon like this one and start farming the rarest items in the game. The grandfather and also the Harley Quinn quest are set to be dropping after level 90 tier dungeons. I know this will be very far away from us, but this could be a potential method to be farming for those items. So if you guys do want to have a look at the nightmare dungeon reset trick, come over to this video. Now for the topic of what are the best dungeons to be resetting and what are the best dungeons to be farming normally. So here we have some Reddit posts. I do find 2 of those. So this one's from Sugarfoot and also this one is from the Pixel list. So what players are doing is they're listing out the best dungeons you can be farming for the nightmare dungeons. And although there are some difference over here, I do not recommend going for the Black Asylum. This is where you get a lot of golds and this is really annoying. So you want to be going for dungeons that is on the top 2 of the tiers. And you can see there's a slight disparity between the tiers. But the good thing about different guides is this actually shows you the type of the dungeon, whether it's a closed map, medium map, or super large map. Now usually we want to be avoiding super large maps simply because they're not good for clearing. And there's a lot of mazes, pathing, and also time delays for your dungeons. So you want to be avoiding the large and also the huge maps. Now as you guys see my replay, as I'm savaging my sigils, I'm actually checking out the ranks of the dungeons. So I have the replays available for you guys. Notice here I'm checking the rank of the dungeons, and if they're a bad one, I will be savaging them. And if they're a good one, I'll be using them for the farming of the nightmare dungeons. So I want to show you guys this part so you can get more out of your dungeons. Now, if you guys haven't subscribed, it is a really good time to do so, because I'll be covering tons of Diablo 4 related topics and also videos and also guides. We'll be looking to the top meta builds, non-meta builds, leveling up, and also paragon tricks. We're also looking to the latest events and also official updates and also changes to different characters and also different builds in the game. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also turn the notification on, because a lot of you who are watching the videos have not subscribed. You can see 80% of the viewers who are watching our videos have not subscribed, so make sure you subscribe to stay tuned for the latest update for Diablo 4. Now coming over to the second part. Over here, what I do is I quickly show you guys my findings of the items I got from 3 runs with the Nightmare Dungeon. So I have salvaged all the items I don't need, so there's a lot of more rare items that I have. I have gotten 6 of the legendaries. 2 of those were actually from the actual end of the dungeon. And I have gotten 1 unique item from the end of the dungeon. So in terms of the item, availability for the legendary and also unique items, the Magic Find dungeon seems to be pretty decent. Now, what I also noticed in my runs for the Nightmare dungeons is that I'm getting a lot of 800 plus items, including this sword over here and also a few of those items over here. So you can see those items, they might not have the perfect stats, but they're fairly decent. So if you're looking for more rare items, Nightmare dungeons with Magic Find can be a really good way. And over here, I want to show you guys some of the highlights of the rings I got. This one has Maximum Fury, this one has Maximum Fury and also Resource Regeneration, and also pretty fairly good critical rate. And similarly, this one has critical chance and also a pretty okay stats. So even though those items are not 800, they can still be some good items. And those items can be interesting for my future build, which I want to be showing to you guys. Now, before I dive into my estimations, I want to really stress out, guys, I have only done about 3 or 4 runs with the Nightmare Dungeons with Magic Find after level, tier 40 plus. So this could be a biased sample of self-selection. What that means is, usually I don't count how many gears that is over 800 I get, and usually I don't count my rare gears. I'm only counting this because I'm doing testing, right? So I could be noticing things which should not be really highly valued, and maybe the Magic Find is not working. So here I'm self-selecting and I can be a little biased towards Magic Find actually working. Now, as you guys gonna see in the short replay, I was level 98 when I was testing those dungeons, and I was playing with a friend. So here what I can notice is, I can notice there seems to be a slight increase of the rare item drops, and also a slight increase of the sigil drops from the Nightmare dungeons with the Magic Find Affix. Now there's also seems to be a noticeably higher white and also blue items, which I did not bother to pick them up. And finally, I have gotten 6 legendaries and 1 unique items from 3 runs, which took me about 15 minutes. So this could potentially be a good thing to be going for Magic Find. But of course, guys, keep in mind, you do have to travel to the dungeons. Because unless we get the update, right now you can't teleport to the dungeons, which means the Magic Find, even though they're good, you have to travel to different dungeons. So finally, here comes my summary. What do I recommend after talking about Magic Find and also testing this out? So if you want to try the ultimate trick, I do recommend considering this to do this Magic Find method after level 90 tier, which will be a while for us. And what I recommend right now is, we know that if you guys haven't seen the previous video, we talk about the developers notes of the upcoming features, and one of the biggest features is that you can be teleporting to Nightmare Dungeons after using your sigil. And this will be happening before Season 1. So what I recommend is, we can be saving some of the Magic Find maps, and after the buff to the Nightmare Dungeons, which will be increasing mob density, experience, and also teleportation portal, then we can go in for the Magic Find hunt, and then we can see how many items we get in comparison. Now, of course, guys, if you still have lots of Magic Find dungeons and also maps, and you want to be testing this out, make sure you send me some of your information in the comments below, and also direct message me if you're testing a lot of data. Because what I want to do is, I want to do a Diablo 4 community data collection to test exactly what we get from Magic Find. And if we can make use of this, I will be helping you guys to farm your ultimate items like the Harlequin's Crest and also the Grandfather. We'll come up with an efficient method to be getting more drops and also more items in endgame. Now, similar logic can also work on the gold find items. So here there's a gold find item, there's 30% more gold. What if I get a gold shire with the gold find items? So this could also work, but I don't think this is the major factor. For now, what I recommend is you can be saving some of your magic fund dungeons for the future for the usage with the update. Now, in case you guys didn't know, I'll be live streaming on Twitch again, and I have just started. So make sure to come over to the links below to join us on Twitch Live to say hi, maybe ask me questions or share any tips with the viewers. And while you're here, make sure you follow. And if you do have your Twitch Prime, this is a really good time to use your Twitch Prime over here, supporting us with Twitch Prime. And yes, guys, join us as I test build for Diablo, and also join us as you play the game and also farm the game. So stay a while and also listen. We'll also be doing some giveaways and also special viewer events in the Diablo as well. Maybe we do PvP and also related events in the game as we get to the end game, and also help players to go through the dungeons.